and welcome to the Creabea Knitting Podcast. My name is Rebecca and today we're going to pack all my knitting and my knitwear for an almost month-long trip to New Zealand and Australia. Hello, this is Rebecca from the future of the video you're currently watching with a little mini update before I jump into my main video because I have a pattern release today and a tester call today and I don't want to I don't want to miss talking about it on YouTube and only post it on Instagram. So first of all is the pattern launch. My Lauder pattern comes out today. It is a mega pattern. It has got a vest v-neck round neck, a cardigan v-neck round neck and a sweater v-neck round neck. It is a DK weight pattern, 22 stitch gauge. I've used Drops Daisy and Philcolana Peruvian Highland wool for my samples. And it is just super versatile. It's drop shoulder, all over cables. I'll put some pictures in while I'm talking. It's all one pattern, like all 6 versions are in the same pattern and it's all the same price as my usual pattern, which is £7. So yeah, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. I think there's like 60 plus pages of pattern content, which is wild to me. So yeah, it's all there, it's all ready. This is the sweater version. I'm just gonna run through my samples. I've got a grey sweater, I've got which is the round neck, I've got my v-neck cardigan in Drops Daisy, I have got my second round neck sweater which my mum has already asked for, also in Drops Daisy, and last but not least I have my v-neck vest in Philcolana Peruvian Highland wool. The pattern is live on Ravelry. All of the information for that is down below and there is a discount code for the launch weekend. I hope you enjoy. The second thing is that I have a tester call today. The test is for my Sanna cardigan. It is an all over lace cardigan knit from the bottom up with a drop shoulder fit. It fits very similarly to my Corin cardigan if you've knit that. It's a similar shaping and styling. There's a short sleeve version which is my first sample with these cute little cap sleeves, and there's also a long sleeve version. It is, if you're new to lace, I think it can be pretty fun. It's definitely like, it's got a little bit of shaping in lace, which is sometimes a bit challenging. But yeah, it's otherwise a pretty easy construction. It's worked flat. The shoulders are joined at the shoulders and then sleeves are joined with a 3-needle bind off. So yeah, to also say it's knit up in Cascade 220, which is 200 meters per 100 grams. It's around about, it's like a heavy DK weight. And it's knit on, for me, a 4mm needle, but I think for the rest of the world a 5mm because I'm a very loose knitter. The test call is down below. I will keep it open for a couple of days. And just a reminder that for the first 3 weeks of this test, I am travelling in Australia and New Zealand. So I will be less responsive than usual and definitely at slightly strange times. I'll still keep on top of it, so I'll still be there, but if you've done tests for me before, it will not be as fast a response as always, and if you've not done a test for me before, then maybe you won't notice the difference, but yeah, usually I reply within like hours, and it might be more within like days. That is all from me. I hope you enjoy the rest of this video, and check out the pattern details for the Lauder and the test call for the Sanna down below. Hello and welcome. It is it's Monday the 18th of April and tomorrow, I'm talking nonsense, it is Monday the 18th of March and tomorrow, Tuesday the 19th of March, we are flying to Auckland. We're flying from Edinburgh to Doha, Doha to Auckland. It is 6 hours to Doha, 16 and a half hours, I can't believe that, 16 and a half hours to Auckland. And yeah, I think we've got like a 2-hour layover in Doha and it's going to take us about an hour to get to the airport on our side. So absolutely loads going on. We are going to be away we're going away until the 12th of April. So it's going to be 3.5 weeks and we're spending basically 2 weeks in New Zealand, 1 week in Australia and then half a week of travelling either side. I am so excited. I'm definitely a bit stressed. It is the biggest trip I have ever taken. And we're travelling because my mum is getting married in Brisbane and my partner's parents live in New Zealand. So we're kind of bundling it all into one trip. I think we had plans to go to New Zealand at some point in the next like 5 years, but it's not like, we're going because the wedding's happening. And I'm excited about it, but I'm like, I have zero expectations. Which honestly I think is the best way to go into a trip. But that's where we're at. So I'm mostly packed and I have 2 sets of things to go through today. So one is what knitwear am I taking to wear, and the other is what knitting am I taking to work on. So let's start with what I'm taking to wear. Packing cube, I've just gone through and taken a couple of things out of the packing cube, but this is my knitwear cube. So we are starting in Auckland. I just checked all the weather. I mean, this is only for the first week, I guess. So it's getting colder. It is the southern hemisphere, so it's going from summer into autumn right now. And the North Island of New Zealand is much warmer than the South Island, which makes sense. So we land in Auckland and it is, and this is all in Celsius because I have no idea how Fahrenheit works. It is like 20, like low 20s, 21, 22, 23 degrees. Bear in mind, I'm in Scotland. That is summer weather for me. Going down to Wellington, it drops down to like 19, 20, like 17 to 20 degrees. Go down further to Christchurch. It's actually like, there are 2 gloriously hot days in Christchurch, but again, it's like 19 to 24 degrees. And then right at the very top of the South Island, Queenstown, I mean, it's not quite the tip, quite far south, pretty much the further south we're going, it's like 11 to 14 degrees. So we're kind of having to pack for New Zealand between like 11 and 22 degrees, which is a pretty broad range. And we're going to Brisbane and like spending time on the Gold Coast in Australia, which I gather is going to be like high 20s, like 26 to 28. So like spring to summer weather for the most part, which doesn't scream knitwear, let's be honest. I've cut down what I had. I've taken out a couple of things and I thought I would talk to you about what I'm taking. So I'm going to wear my Lauder sweater on the plane. The plane can be like all over the place, be hot and cold. It's also going to be a great pillow. And I feel a bit weird going away, this past summer release while we're away, and I want to prioritise taking one of the versions because like I want to wear it when we're there. Like it'll be fun to have it on the day we release and like maybe take some extra pictures or whatever. Like I want to take one of my current patterns. So this is going in the plane with me. It is like oversized and cozy. I'm wearing like I take a big grey like pashmina whenever I travel, which is kind of like a blanket. And I just think this is going to be, yeah, like this, a black t-shirt, black stretchy trousers, comfy shoes, good cozy scarf, like ready to go. And then this is kind of my heavy knitwear. I did have packed my 6 season. I love my 6 season. I don't think I'm going to wear my 6 season. I feel like on the warmer days, I'm going to have I've got a cardigan to pack, and on my colder days, I'm going to want a thick jumper, like 11 to 12 degrees, a thick jumper. I'm not taking a warm coat, I'm just taking a raincoat. So I don't think I need this, which is a shame because I love this, but it gets a lot of wear anyway, so I don't mind missing out on it for like a day. I think that's fine. A day? Like a month. It can stay here, I will wear it when I get back. The second thing was my toaster. Now I am taking another toaster tee, but I took this one out. This is my stripy one. I love this t-shirt. But I think I have plenty of summer tops, and I'm taking a lot, it doesn't really go as well with other things, so I'm taking a lot of like white t-shirts and a cardigan situation, and I don't think, like that doesn't go with a cardigan, and it wouldn't be my first choice on a hot day, so I'm not going to take that one. So they come out of the bag. Now what is left in the bag? Now first of all, we've got a couple of toasters. So I've got my pink toaster, which I've just finished, my Barbie toaster. I think this will be really fun for Australia. And I quite like the idea of having a couple of toasters with me because I will be doing test recordings when we get back. So if we get some like fun pictures of it, that'd be nice. And I'm taking my black toaster tank as well. This is just super easy to wear. I love wearing this one. It's super easy, super comfy. I also have a white, or like an off-white linen shirt, which I can pair up my toaster and a shirt over the top to make it like more flexible. I don't always want bare arms, but then Australia, if I do want bare arms, I've got the option of bare arms. And that makes for a couple of good outfits. I've got my red toaster tee in silk. It's been folded up for a couple of days now. This is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, held double, and this feels like a fancy t-shirt, which I quite like. Oh, I'm also wearing a toaster in wool, which is not coming with me. But yeah, this is coming. I think this will be nice for like if we go out in an evening sort of thing. I also think it's like really nice for weather, like temperature regulation. So just like a t-shirt, if I'm wearing a jeans and a t-shirt, that's a really good one to wear. I'm taking my Sanna because it's just finished and I love it. And I think it's perfect for like spring weather. And I'm currently working, like the test is going to start whilst we're away, and it's nice to have like a completed sample with me just to know what's going on, and I want to wear it because it's just finished. And then last but not least, I'm taking my grey Leith cardigan because it is perfect to shove over a white t-shirt on like a cold day with a bit of a chill, and it's sort of thing I could like pack into a bag and just carry around with me if we're like out all day. We've got a couple of city days, a couple of car days. Yeah, we're like a little bit all over the place, so I think that one is going to be really helpful. So that means I'm taking 5, well technically 6 pieces of knitwear with this. And I think we're all set. I'm thinking I'm going to take a couple of my white t-shirts out of my other bag because I think I have a lot of t-shirts here. I have like, yeah, I'll take a couple of those out. I don't think I need so many. Cool. So that is, oh let me get this packed up. So that's what I'm taking. Taking 2 toasted tanks, a toasted t-shirt, my Leith cardigan for layering, my Sanna cardigan, and then my Lauder sweater for the plain. And we'll see, maybe I can do a review at the end of what got worn the most. I'm thinking in my head, like most of our days, we've got a lot of like, I should have said this, we're starting in Auckland and then we go Auckland, New Plymouth, Wellington, Christchurch across the Arthur's Pass and down the west coast of the South Island to Queenstown, and then we're spending a couple of days in like Queenstown, Te Anau, Fiordland in the south, which if you don't know New Zealand that might just sound like complete nonsense to you, but if you do know, that's what we're doing. So we're basically doing the entire length of the island. We've got a couple of like more active days, a couple of days on a sheep station, which I think will be really cool. We've got a couple of days on a sheep station, a couple of days on a ferry. We're doing a Fiordland ferry trip, so I think it's mostly like comfort. We do have definitely quite a few meals out, so like something nicer like my Sanna I think would be really nice with just jeans to make it a bit more, I don't think New Zealand's particularly fancy, but you know, feel like a bit more dressed up. Yeah, so that is what I'm packing. We'll see how it goes. I think I'm overpacking, and I do think after this I'm gonna just go double check my like everything else I'm packing, like my t-shirts and stuff, because I think I'm overpacking, which wouldn't be like me. Cool. So let's move on to the knitting that I'm taking. Now we are going for 3.5 weeks. It is, what is that, 22 hours traveling. Of course I'll be sleeping for some of it. But 22 hours just in a plane, plus 2 hours layover, an hour to get to the, you know, it's basically 24 hours plus a little bit of just pure traveling there and back. We have a couple of longer traveling things when we're there. We've got a big drive from Auckland to New Plymouth, which is a couple of hours. We're driving to Wellington, another couple of hours. We are spending time on a ferry. We're going, I can't remember what the ferry's called, but we're getting the ferry that goes from the North Island to the South Island, which is like 4 hours. We've got a flight to Australia, which is 4 hours. So we've got a lot of chunks of time, which is for me a lot of knitting time, which I'm excited about. But yeah, we do have a lot of knitting time. There is, I will be buying some yarn, I think, like of course I will be. So there's definitely an option to like, I don't think I'll run out of knitting, but I don't think, we're not gonna get to Wellington until a couple of days, like 5 or 6 days into the trip. And I might get to a yarn shop in Auckland, but we're just have landed. We've got a couple of dinners, like we might have a couple of free hours in the afternoon, but also I might be jet lagged as anything. So I'm not like relying on getting to yarn for basically our first week. And then even after that, there are a couple more places to go to that I could pick up yarn, but like it's not the priority of the trip. And I don't want to feel like I'm running out of yarn and have to buy stuff. So I will go through my knitting, and then I'll go through like my setup of what I'm taking and how I'm packing it all. So I'm taking 4 projects. 3 of them, 4 projects. So first things first, I'm taking my, where's best to work on? Okay. I'm taking a toaster. I'm actually going to take all of these out of they've all got button bands on them. That's not the word. Ball bands on them. I'm taking 5 skeins of Drops Bell, and that is to make a camisole version of the toaster tank, which is the only sample I've not made. This is coming on a flight with me, and I would love to get this finished. I think 24 hours, like I will almost, like I think I can knit one in 3 days, so I think I will get this done, and part of me wants to try and get this done. I've got a lot of reading to do, and I'm thinking getting started on this toaster, starting a new book, like that's going to be my perfect, probably most of my first flight to Doha is getting through that book. It is the second book in the Swift and Saddled like cowboy romances by Lila Sage, I think her name is. I've been saving it. It came out a few days ago and I've not touched it yet. It's ready to go for that first flight. So I've got 5 skeins of this. They're all in this little pouch. This is going to be coming on my on the plane with me. And I currently have, my plan is, I've got them on wooden needles. So I've got my 4.5mm, which is what I'll use for the main body. And I've got 3.5mm in here that's going to be for ribbing. These are on wooden needles. My ideal state is that I will get the ribbing done before we even get to the, maybe not. I kind of want to get the ribbing started when we're on the way to the, sorry I have hiccups, on the way to the airport, and then I want to get them off, not have extra needles in this pouch, just have them on the needles as I'm going. And as a general rule, I'm trying to get all my projects started before I go through security, just because like loose needles I always feel a bit questionable, but if they're on something I don't think anyone really cares. So that is project number 1, Toast the Tank, and it is coming in my hand luggage. Okay, project number 2 is, I can probably name it now, it's the Myrtle Vest. It is a pattern that's coming out in Journal of Scottish Yarns at the end of, or the start of May I think. It is a colourwork, it's got some colourwork on it, it's a colourwork vest. But the body is all stockinette. So it's got a lot of stockinette basically to knit, and that's also coming with me on the plane. So I again have started this. I have this on metal tips. These are probably my most questionable ones because they're quite thin. So I've done about 1 inch of knitting. Is that about 2.5 centimetres, about 1 inch. And I have a backup pair of wooden tips for these, and I have a backup metal pair that's going in my hold luggage. So if these get taken off of me, I have a metal needle. I have a wooden needle. I would rather, I'm using Kinross 4-ply held double. And I would rather not have to, I hope these will get taken away from me, and I'd rather work on metal tips. For my toaster, I'm fine on wooden. For this, I started it on wooden, I didn't love it, so I've changed it to metal, and if they take it off me, then I'll have another one. I'll have another set for when I arrive, and I've got a wooden set to tide me over on the plane, but I'd rather they don't take them off me, to be honest. But we're, accounting for all eventualities. And these are in my other favourite project bag. I like that I got so many of this size. And that is coming in also my hand luggage. And then my third hand luggage project, am I going too far? Maybe. Is my second version of my Sanna. Now Sanna is it's the lace cardigan, but I'm making a long sleeve version, and I'm making it again in Cascade 220, and I'm making it as like beautiful twilight, it's called Twilight Blue, and I'm currently on the ribbing. Again, it's lace. I would rather have metal tips for this one, but what my plan is to do is I've started the ribbing. I'm hoping to get this maybe done today, like maybe tonight if I'm sitting reading or whatever. It's not very much ribbing. I've done 3 rows, I have to do 10 rows. And I'm gonna get this done and then take these tips off and switch them for my metal tips before we get my metal size 4, I think I'm using. These are 3.5 for the ribbing and 4 for the body. So I started this. I'd like to get this finished, take these tips off, put these tips in my hold luggage, and then not have to worry about, and then just have 1 set of metal needles attached to these. Again, if the metal 4s get taken off me, I have wooden backups, and I have a second set of metal ones in my hold luggage ready to go. If they get taken off me, I will not be stuck, but I'd rather not risk it. I'm taking 2 skeins of Cascade 220 in my hand luggage, and that is, I basically have 1400 meters of yarn, is that right? This is 400. This is 400 yards, 400 meters. It's 220 meters. I mean, technically it's double that, but I'm holding it double, so 220. So that's 620 plus 120 meters per ball for the toaster, which is 600 meters. So I'm taking 12,500 meters. 12,500 meters of yarn on my journey. Let's hope that goes well. Have an extra cord that does not need to be in here. We'll put that away somewhere else. And that is in this pouch. And so I'm taking 3 projects in my hand luggage. 2 are like plain stockinette. I've got a lot of books I want to read, so they're kind of like read and knit as I go. And then I've got one which is the lace one, which is a bit more involved if I want to like engage my brain a bit more. So we're kind of covering all bases. I'm also then taking some drops bell to make a toaster when we get out there. And I've got 4, I'm taking the ball bands off again. So it uses just under, my sample so far I've used just under 4 balls of yarn. Sorry, that's not true. The square neck uses just under 4 balls. The tank top takes just over 4. I've not made the camisole yet, so I'm taking 5 for the camisole. I don't think it'll take that much, but I don't want to run out of yarn. That would just be annoying. So I'm taking an extra, for 50 grams, like it's a 50 gram ball, it's not the end of the world. So I'm taking 4 balls of white and 2 balls of navy to make a striped tank once we arrive. So this is, let's take all my ball bands off. This is going straight into my hold luggage. I'm not going to touch it before we get there. And this is for things like, our big long drives and stuff like that. It's a little bit more engaging. I feel like I'm going to get the first toaster tank finished before we get, like the camisole finished before we get there. So in my head, I'm like, I don't need to worry about the other one. Like, I think that's going to be off my needles, and so this is kind of the replacement. And it is in this pouch, and that is going purely in my hold luggage. And then additionally in my hold luggage is my ball sack. And this has in it an extra skein of Cascade. Sorry, 2 extra skeins of Cascade. My short sleeve took 3 skeins. I think 4 will get me pretty close to finishing, but maybe not quite completely, but that's completely fine. So I'm taking 2 more skeins of my Cascade. And I'm taking the other 2 skeins of Kinross 4-ply and the yarn for the colour work, which is a 50, oh, it's so badly wound. This was a 50 gram ball. Jeez Louise, what did I do here? This was a 50 gram ball split into 2 25 gram mini cakes because I'm holding it double. It's a very small amount of colour work. In my brain, what I would quite like is for the colour work, I'm not a very good flyer. I hate flying, if I'm being honest, which is going to be entertaining given I'm getting on a 16-hour flight tomorrow. I hate it. I'm a very nervous flyer, and I'm hoping that this is going to distract. Like the colour work and the lace is more of a distracting thing. I just get really anxious. I am fully aware that flying is the safest form of travel. I understand what turbulence is. I get all those things, and I still hate it. It still makes me feel really sick. So distraction is the best method, to be honest, in my experience. And things like a more involved lace pattern or a more involved colour work pattern, I'm hoping will get my brain going. So this colour work I'm not taking on this flight, but maybe I should. No, I don't need it. Not taking on this flight, but I will have it if I need it for like our second flight, the one to Australia, or potentially the flight home. Then I'm also packing into my ball sack this pouch, and this is basically just everything that goes in my notions pouch that doesn't fit. So I have my scissors. I don't want to take them on the flight. I don't need them on the flight, but I don't like going without them. I could just like break the yarn and weave in the ends if I need them on the flight, but don't want to get in that situation. And a little wool wash. I think there's a good chance I'll finish my toaster, and it'd be nice to get it washed and then go into rotation to wear while I'm there. So I'm taking a little one, but again, don't want to deal with it going through. I don't need it on the flight, so it's just going in here. So that is just in a little coin purse. And that's going to my hold luggage. So the last thing is my situation regarding what I'm taking on the plane and what I'm taking like needle wise. So I was taking my full needle case and then I thought this is dumb. So I'm actually only taking my Chow Green mini pouch to like with needles. And what I have in here is a lot of stuff. So I have 2 packs of cords. I don't necessarily think I'll need all of these. I might actually take one of these out. I don't think I need, like I've got a giant one that I don't think I'm gonna need. These always seal up so well and I can never get it open again. Let's see, what do I have in this big one? Because I'm thinking everything is on tips that needs it. Yeah, so I'll leave off the giant one and I'll take 2 more of my smaller ones, I guess. Yeah, I'm not gonna need this, it's huge. So I will leave those here. And yeah, so I'm taking a pack of cords. I'm taking my mini, oh, I just stopped them everywhere. I find this happens a lot, like no matter how well tucked in they are, these just enjoy falling, the little ones enjoy falling out of the pouch a lot. Now, I'm taking my minis, but I'm thinking I never ever use the smallest tips. I just don't use them, I don't need them. So let's just take them out. Like it's something that's worth, I don't want to risk losing them. So I'll take them out and put them in there. And then I'm just taking the longer tips, which are super solid and fit in there well. And that technically covers my bases. Like that's everything from 3mm to 3.5mm to 5mm. I've got one project on 3.25s, but I think that's gonna cover my bases. And then I'm taking tips. Now my Chowgoos are pretty well labelled, so I'm not super worried about it. But in here, what am I taking? I'm taking 2 sets of 5mm. If I get yarn to make a toaster, I need either a 4.5mm or a 5mm, so I'm taking the long 5mm. I'm also taking wooden 5mm, just in case. I'm taking my long, so I've got 4.5 inch, I think, and 3 inch. These are all my 4 inch ones. Yeah, that's correct. 4.5mm metal, which is for my toaster again. I'm pretty comfortable knitting with drop spell on wooden tips if it's just plain stockinette, but if I use a different yarn, maybe a cotton, maybe I'll want metal ones instead. An extra tapestry needle in the off chance that my other ones get taken off me, which I feel is unlikely, but it's worth being prepared. 4mm metal tips, which are what I need for the other one. Oh, do I have my 4th? Oh, no I do, never mind. 4mm metal tips, which is what I need for my Sanna lace cardigan. I've got 2 sets of 4mm needles. I've actually also got my mini ones, but I've got 2 sets of the long ones. One of them is going on the project because I'd rather knit them in metal. If they get taken off of me, I have a backup pair of metal tips for while we're out there. 3.75. Do I need them for anything? No, but I may as well take them. But I don't think I need them for anything. Anyway. I'll put my 3.5s in here once I've done the ribbing to the Sanna, and then 3.25 metal tips, which again is what I'm using for the Myrtle vest, the one in Kinross 4x, but I don't want to, I'm keeping the metal on because I prefer knitting with them. If they get taken off me, I'll have a backup pair in my hold luggage. So, oh, and there's technically also a little mini gauge ruler in here, which I don't really often use, but I leave in there just in case. And so that is coming in my, that is being my hold luggage. And that is basically like my full set of needles all packed into here, which is super nice. I did find my whole needle case out and I was like, that's a bit ridiculous. So this is a way nicer way to do it. And actually I might just tuck them into the ball sack bag. That's all we're going to hold. And then last but not least is my Notions pouch, which is the one that's coming with me on the plane. Now, what do we have in here? I'm going to take, I don't think those, but I realize I'm taking off my needle stoppers because I never use them. I only really use them for blankets, but I keep them in here just in case. And I'm thinking, oh, I can't find it. I came across another tape measure just a minute ago and I put it somewhere and I don't know where I put it, but I thought I would put my backup tape measure somewhere in case I lose this one, but maybe I won't lose this one. Let's hope. Okay, so what am I taking in this pouch? So I'm taking a set, these are just in the bag. These are stitch markers. I'm going to use these on my Sanna cardigan to mark out the stitch patterns every time, and I've not gotten to that part yet, so they're just ready to go when I get past the ribbing. I've also got a tin of stitch markers, which I think this is definitely way too many, so I'm just going to pop a couple. Actually, this is the thing, like it's too many, but it's also like not that too many, so part of me is like, do I take them all out or do I leave them? What do I do? Let's just leave in a handful. Don't do either. So these are basically all of my like distinct beginning of row markers. I got a couple of Easter ones. They're super cute, and I kind of like the idea of taking them because it's going to be Easter while we're away. So yeah, all my distinct beginning of round markers, and then a couple of just extra plain round markers. So I've just taken out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've taken out 7 of my like chunkier ones, and they're all in the tin. I've got a couple of try-on cords. I've taken out my big try-on cords. Is that right? Do I want to do that? Is there anything I don't want to put on try-on cords and actually try on? No. Nothing I'm working on I need to try on at any point, but I do need to put stitches on hold. So my Toaster tank requires stitches on hold, my Sanna requires things on hold. So I've got 2 of like my shorter ones. And I'm going to be working on the camisole on the plain, and I will put stitches on hold for that one. So I'm taking those. A little bit of scrap yarn, just again, if I put things on hold, sometimes it's nice to have them. If I've got, maybe those ones are full or whatever, I like to just have a little piece in there just in case. A bunch of light bulb stitch markers, and actually I'm just going to put them in that needle case. I like to use these to count stitches when I'm casting on, and to do things like marking decreases. So there's loads of those, but they're best just in the case. A tape measure, very much a necessity. My gauge ruler, which I don't think I need. Yeah, I don't need it. My tape measure will do the job. And then a couple of tapestry needles. I'm thinking I'm going to take the smallest one out because I can just imagine that is a delight for the scanner. Short and really jabby. So yeah, I've got a couple of them in there, pretty normal size ones. And then I have my metal tips for anything that I need. So my 4mm metal tips are for Sanna, in case they take my metal ones off of me, and my 3.25mm metal wooden tips, for the Myrtle in case they take off my metal ones. So they're gonna go through the scanner with metal, and we'll see. I've never had an issue with my needles. I did get them taken off me once when I went for jury duty, but they've never been taken off of me for a flight. I had someone once stop me like, are these knitting needles? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh wow. And they were totally fine with it. And that was flying through Edinburgh. So I think I'm not concerned, but I don't want to be stuck basically. And I just got a good day. Like I just feel like it's purely pretty much entirely, like they asked me what airline are you flying with. I've never had my luggage checked by airlines. I've only ever had it checked by like security at the airport, and they've never had any issues. So I don't think I'm gonna have any, I don't expect to have any issues if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't know if I have to go through a second one in Doha. But yeah, I feel like if you get the right person, they don't care about knitting needles, and if you don't get the right person, they do care. So I think that's just like, people have been unlucky, people have been lucky. I think the thing is that they don't want you to have like more than like a 6cm sharp blade. So like you can take razors, and I could take my scissors on board, but I don't really want to risk it. But I really don't think anyone can make an argument for these. Maybe someone will make an argument about metal tips, but I'm hoping with a bit of knitting on them, and there's a lot of them, it should be fine. Some people say they put them in like pencil cases. I'm not taking a pencil case, so that's not really something I'm going to do. And I'd rather just have them on the knitting, evidently what they are, along with 3 knitting projects, and make it very clear that I'm a knitter, rather than risk it. So we've got wooden tips for backup, but I'm hoping to use them. And then I've got 1 short cord, which actually I might switch out for the medium sized cord. I think I will do that. When I get to the camisole, it's going to be on quite a big needle. quite a large cord, but I split the camisole into like the 4 like boob triangles. Not really, you know what I mean though, like with the camisole there are like 4 triangles that make up like the bikini almost side at the front and back, and I don't want to be working, it's just a bit fiddly to work on a big giant cord for them, but instead of this size I'll take this size, which is just a bit easier to work with, and I'll put this one back in there. So I think that is everything. I am incredibly, I thought about a lot of things. If you've just noticed, oh actually, sorry, I'll just show you. So that is the pouch. It's my petite knit pouch I'm taking. And so in there we've got my 4 metal needles, 2 tapestry needles, stitch markers, tape measure, a little bag of stitch markers for the Sanna, my scrap yarn, my try-on cords, and last but not least this cord, which I find I usually can just tuck them around each other a little bit and it stops them from, of course I do this every single day and now is the one time it won't work. I just like make a little loop and then I put one end through it, there we go, and it just stays like this. And that's my notions pouch. So I probably just will put my notions pouch into one of my project bags, put it into this one because it's the biggest one. And there we go. So as a wrap up, we have 3 hold luggage bags. I'm taking a giant carry-on. It is the Cloud bag by Bagu, which I bought for this purpose. It is huge, but it is perfect. It's perfectly within the requirements for Qatar if you were flying. I think if you're on like Ryanair or like any of the European ones that have quite strict, like smaller bags than normal, it doesn't fit, but for the standard ones it's bang on the measurements. It is huge. And it's funny, I think it will change a little bit, but we weighed bags the other day and I think I have like 32 kilos of hold luggage and my bag measured or weighed 9.5 kilos and my carry-on was 7 kilos. So like I only have 2 kilos more in my entire luggage than I do in my hold on, because my carry-on, everything's in my carry-on. I have 2 extra things going in my hold luggage then, so some extra yarn and a whole extra project. And I'm taking 2 tank tops, a Tulsa tee, a cardigan, 2 cardigans and a sweater. And that is it. Ready to go, basically. Yeah, I don't know how much of this I can actually manage to fit, but ta-da! Plus these 3, so you know. Just a little bit of knitting and knitwear. What else did you expect? So yeah, maybe I'll do a little review at the end of an episode when I get back and talk about what got worn a lot, like how it worked out. I would like to buy some yarn when we're there. I'm not going to go crazy, but at the same time, we are wrapping up our trip with my boyfriend's parents. So if I buy yarn and we don't have space for it, I feel like I could post it to myself from there, or give it to them and they can send it to us. So we have options. But yeah, that is it. We are flying tomorrow. I'm planning a couple of videos. I think this will go up once we're already there. But we're planning a couple of videos. I'm gonna be trying to vlog the entire journey, and like with my knitting. So how much am I knitting on? What am I knitting on? What progress am I making? That should be fun, starting tomorrow morning. And then we just have some amazing, cool bits of travel planned around New Zealand. So I'm hoping to break that down into 2 parts. So maybe a North Island, South Island, or a part 1, part 2. So yeah, there will be plenty of knitting content over there. I'm starting to get excited. Like I say, it felt like a bit of an obligation trip at the start. And of course we've planned so many nice things, but it's starting to get the excitement creeping in. So that is all from me. I will be back next time with hopefully an update on how everything went, what I'm knitting on, what got through security. And yeah, I'm super excited to spend 3 weeks down under. Bye!